Okay. Shaders. Prototyping. What comes to mind is to do dynamically loaded texture, send it to Steam, and then have the shader bite on it. Oh yeah, of course there's the whole, let's compile the shader dynamically thing. Let me see something. I was compiling the shaders. There's my prototypes. Just load one of them. I only have like 20 minutes to stream, so kind of late to the park here. Late to the park for the beer arrests. I'm just here for the beer arrests. Damn it. Okay. So what it does, I have some shaders I wanted to compile. Mostly prototypes. And for some reason I can't even use them in the models. Well, I could just add the PBR shader. See what I was working on last time on the RTS game. I don't know if I was in the middle of broken code or almost got it to work. Oh yeah, I think I was in the middle of a good place. It was time to go to sleep and I had to write the shader for these quads. It's similar to what I want to do in Source. It's kind of funny how certain things start to collide. This has a background of a sprite of the same size as the character. I also need to make a background, I guess, of the surrounding sprite at the center. I have the effect I got by accident using an error, and I kind of tried to replicate it. It's not exactly the same right now. So what it has is dynamic classes for fields and sprites. That was my sprite image class. It doesn't update yet, but it displays. It's in its first infancy step, which is fine because you could still run the shader on it. And it's ID 10,000. I should rename these shaders. It's already getting to version 5. It's actually a 120 shader, not a 140. Do that real quick. Get like one thing done in here. It's super easy. Oh, it's actually complicated if you don't know the whole workaround of shaders. But to explain it real quick, I'm trying to use a potato shader version because I want it to work on anything and be like high performant. I was researching Tesla cards today, and I guess the P40 is the best card to get if I wanted to 3D generate something and not have to pay any money. Well, I still have to pay like $300, but it beats buying $1,000 or $2,000 4090 type card, or 3080, or I mean 30, yeah, maybe even 3080 up to 590. And I'm not even thinking about that whole Blackwell 6000 RTX card. Even though that would be nice to have later on. But it's kind of like one thing at a time. It's also like I looked at the G Cloud prices and some other prices. Basically for $60 a day for like a whole year. This is a really big commitment. It's like they want you to run that thing 24/7, and it's like, maybe it'd be better to do that on the cloud. But it's also good to have like a local to sit there and test it on. Once it's up and running, then maybe convert to cloud. Alright, so this is my shader. It will send the type over. The vertex shader doesn't do much. I wanted to make the vertex shader do stuff, but actually the less stuff it does, the better. The package shader does way too much, so we might have to move some stuff to vertex shader later. So we have to type in ilsf for 10,000 and map the texture. Just map the texture. Our texture actually here is a merge texture. It is both a sprite texture and a text texture. It's really cool because we could use the other textures for stuff like vertex animation and we'll take a lot of ID space for sprites. We'll take everything in 10,000s. So our fragment color will be, I don't know if we need the alpha. Later I can write more else for alpha. Let's try to make this like a really clean down in the comments thing, because all my other codes, I have some other shader code that just looks like a blah. Because I injected like parts of the cool stuff off of shader toy. So let's just make the alpha 1 for now. And the first 3 will be RGB. So it just gets the red, green, and blue of the texture. And that should be it. And then we have to modify the shader file it's reading. Compile it. It compiles the shader file every time in OpenGL and different things like Vulkan. And I think Metal too. Metal kind of follows the OpenGL. Just compile the shader before you run things. In Blender, the shader compiles sometimes as you're doing things. Alright, it disappeared. So something happened. Is it good? No, because it disappeared. Let's just fix this real quick by just taking one of these, commenting this out, setting alpha to 1, and we'll just set it to I don't know, I keep always mixing up the color light and dark. But for some reason this looks like really grayscale. But it worked. We see the quads. What probably the problem is our texture coordinates for some reason are. Let's print our texture coordinates in red and blue channel. Or the red and blue color. Just to get started here. It's already good enough if I could just move on to the next thing I was trying to do. Alright, so those are the texture coordinates. They're different because the colors are different. Looks kind of cool. Okay. I'll just look at the code real quick of why that is, and then I'll move on. Because when I allocate the quads, because I'm just trying to have a basic UI interface system test thing here for my other kid. Okay, UVs are just being set to 1 and 0. We just draw everything that's on the screen. And there's an offset. Okay, that's good. The offset should be right, actually. I remember coding it. Yeah, it's 0.5. Let's show off my brilliant tech here. I'm gonna get another 8 minutes for the other thing. Perfect. All right. The other thing is Steam SDK. So this is my template. I'm going to close my config because I don't want people to see what my config is. It's all the credentials. It's like everything in the config is credentials. So pretend that this is the MySQL password, username, database name, and database host. And I have 3. I have my local. I have my local other computer, so it's not like on this computer, and I have my remote at Google. I configured the CCA cert path so I could authenticate with SSL properly, my Steam publisher key, my Steam ID, my current Steam ID, and my app ID, my game ID. So this will be like my game template. So let's say we want to do get Steam user. The way I did this before was just I used AI, and I know curl, so it was easy for me to fix things up real quick. Like I would go to my Steam partner page, go to the Steam docs, and really what I want to get to work is the workshop. So let's just pull out the Steam user ID. I don't think I'll have enough time to insert it into database, but I've set it up to where I could do it later. Get Steam user ID.php. I gotta write another one because when you do this, you basically log in right after. You could also authenticate it using that one call off of the client, which is good to do for your sake. So no one just calls your server and just starts like throwing garbage at you or at your database server. iPlayer service. Okay, so let me see. It's inside the. I have it in a few places, but the Steamworks example that doesn't compile, it's inside there. I've gotten it to work because it was more standalone. So in the player thing, I would just write like stuff like this. Okay, this is the iPlayer service. I think we need iSteam user. We could call the iPlayer service get recent play games. Just for fun, real quick. It's like I would just like lay out all these files first, because then I could create the functions to make sure they work, and then I just put it all into one global API file for one like. And then it'll just do like, oh, okay, because then I have to like map everything out. The game calls these, and it calls these Steam ones. And then I try to optimize kind of in the PHP and the SQL, because I got to call stored procedures, because the stored procedures got to grind data, make sure it's like committed right, like transactional. Okay, so let's see. For this call, it's pretty simple. We just have to specify the key, the publisher key, the Steam ID, and the app ID, which are all we have. Because we'll require our config, require once, I believe. This doesn't always work. I found that in certain PHP versions I couldn't get it to work. I got to double check on the Google server Linux, see if this require once works. It's just up to the PHP if it works. So because we have this, we have all these variables in here that are in my hidden config PHP file. It's in the directory, but I don't want to show my keys and stuff. I want to show these values off. So these values exist, right? And I would just tell AI to do this real quick. Four minutes left, okay. Code in PHP curl request that. And you could use the free or the code, but the free will work just fine for these simple type of requests. I just copy paste this real quick. And then I would write more code on top of this to insert it into the database. And if you have some free time, it's really good to learn PHP MySQL with the MySQLi object, so you can call the stored procedures. So the API key will be my publisher key. I'll just do it like this, just for speed purposes. User Steam ID, which is defined, just pretend I'm putting in my actual Steam ID, the long one. Count set 0 for all or specific integer limit. Okay. So you specify the key, we specify the Steam ID. And we're calling get recently played games and the count. The number of games returned on set all. Okay, so when this returns, shoot, I'm missing a thingamajigger here. We're missing authentication for the social certificate. Okay, so in this verify peer, we needed to send the CLPEM, the cert.pdm. And then what we have to add is this. And the CL cert file will be a path. In Windows, it's like a slash this way path, and Linux is slash that way path, and you download that off of the curl website. You can just ask the AI, or you download it and you download this file, and that'll give you certification without having to turn this peer verification off. So you have peer verification on for both you and them. So this is secure. Okay, so when the API success print everything. So let's say we hit that URL and it was running on our G-Cloud or whatever remote server. Kind of like I set it up on Windows to run PHP, curl, MySQL, which was kind of stupid and painful, but after a while I just forced it into submission. Alright, so array successfully retrieved. Array, nothing. Okay, let's try a different call. Let's try the player call. It looks like I didn't play any games recently or something. We could try to just play a game. Oh, we'll just name this 2 for now. I get player summaries. This is an important call because it gives you your thumbnail and stuff that you insert into your database and use it. The other thing, yeah, will run like a game. Yeah, here you could just use one API key. And some of the fixes you always have to do after the AI gives it to you, like that CA cert one. It's just like a rabbit hole. That's why it doesn't provide it. It's like, oh, you have to go and get this thing. It just, because I'm not going to explain that to you. You got to like, it wrote it a little bit different than last time. It like put it into a function, which was nicer. Maybe I queried it a little bit different. Yeah, it implodes the Steam list. Here, what you can do is just take this and just equal it to the Steam ID. Just pretend I put one of these like in here, like that. But what I'm going to do is employ my real Steam ID here. That's already in config, so I don't have to guess. This actually is a real Steam ID of somebody. It's funny. So I was like, oh, you can just check. See, we have CA cert path we have to set. Usually you'd pass it into the function. If I had a longer time, I would explain all that. Kind of want to define everything up top because it's just easier to read later. PHP is like super scripty language. Oh, it's like runtime, which is nice because it's like a lot of this you have to like rescript, update. You don't have to compile. It runs pretty fast enough, or at least like half the speed of C++. So it's like it's fine for the web development. It's like by the time you optimize it, you got to update it. So you're always saving time by just keep coding more. All right, so we got a few errors. Undefined publisher key, and that's fine. So I will copy paste require once config by PHP because PHP is just so makes you like copy paste lazy. All right, so we got my name, my status is 1, and view profile. It actually formatted it funny. I wish it didn't do that. What we want is print R. And let's just print R player. Print R is a very good thing to know on the JSON dumps, so you can see all my info here. My avatar thing, and real name, and clan ID thing, primary clan ID. Oh, we could change our primary clan ID, and I could use that in the game. So I want to be able to store this. So. And then I can call the group summary. The group summary is actually a different API call. It's on the Wild Wiki how you do that, and it returns an XML call. But yeah, you can mess with the groups. That's the clan ID. It's the group ID. So this is how you really, and you can just keep going. You just like every interface, just keep doing that same thing, and you'll eventually just have the whole Steam with your like server to server doing stuff. This is the one I really want to get to. So I already have some few items, so I gotta insert more items. I wish I just did that today, but just didn't wake up fast enough, I guess. But whatever, I wanted to sleep. The other one, yeah, this is the one I want to call. Let's just try to do one of these calls. This is item. How do I add an item? I just want to add a workshop item. So enumerate user subscribe files, get collection, publish file details. Might have to use the C++ to do that. I don't know. I don't know if these are new. Publish. I need to publish, not published. This one has so many parameters. It's so good to write this with AI. It's just like annoying. Look at the required parameters, like everything almost, except for like language. And then you want language too. It's to like be like thorough. And people can upload banned items and there's like shit filter that needs to be done. I believe it would be in remote storage. There's also a cloud interface here, iCloud. Maybe it's economy. Yeah, and then you have like a million tabs open. So that's like really common. Oh, economy is trade stuff. It's easy to get lost in doing one thing and then jumping to another. Files to upload. What the hell is this? It's like 3 of these things, enumerate files. Yeah, because the cloud interface and the workshop interface, it's like shit just seems to overlap. Again, HTTP upload. It's like make a file, I guess. Workshop file.txt. I'll just write like a partial shader. That'll be the contents of a file. Alright, I guess I won't tell the delete portion of this. This is like hard one. Yeah, that's why it's good to do a lot of the easy ones first, like getting the player's info, the other things, getting the item, adding an item, and then I would recommend doing economy maybe, and then workshop. But you can just jump all over the place and just get good. Yeah, iSteam user auth interface. Yeah, this authenticate ticket is a good one. Also to get working for the login. You call like, oh yeah, this player has launched my game. Do the login part of my service, and usually the login is the first one. And then like get the news for the player, and get the player like new events that, oh, the game gave you items. Oh, the game like has a special mission for you. It's your like login request. Okay, so let's code and PHP curl request to upload a file on the server's current directory locally. It have to be like an explicit, implicit, or whatever. Same time, and it understands that you're like not a complete wasteful typer. Workshop file dot text, that is our workshop file to upload for this request as a placeholder for this code. I'll just dump all this into it. Copy paste the specification, and then we'll make a file called add Steam game workshop file 1.php, and then we'll rename it file 2, 3, 4 as the game. The file kind of prototype progresses. We will need. Let's see. I bet we won't be able to do this all today. The local file path directory. Yeah, it requires some file system interface. Wow, he wrote a called Steam API. I have to change that a little bit. Okay, let's just copy paste this and look at it in here. And we'll copy paste the template config partially in here. Set up our header. Require once. Do a set config so the file doesn't look like trash. Access token. We need an access token for it requires cloud write scope. Fuck. So we need to call and get our access token. Access token.php. Let's fix up this shit real quick too, though. The app ID will be the app ID, so it's prepped. Access token will be $access token, which will come from require file access token. And we'll make that file right now. And let's fix the CA path. That way we're authenticated. It's here. File options. Okay, begin file, response, iPod. Blah blah blah. It looks like it's doing it right. I have no clue, but alright, it seems to say echo batch closed. Then we would need to update the we could still list the file. We could call that request. Shit all over. Enumerate files later. This is a really easy call compared to that call. It returns the files, and we'll see if this part works. Then once we return the files, we can get the details. So this requires a lot of calling back and forth on tests, of course. So it's really blossoming. All right, let's just get the access token if we can, and just call this once it goes. Code a PHP curl request to get access token for, I believe it's gonna Steam SDK API, I don't know, just tell us some shit. Maybe it'll figure it out for us. Maybe it won't. We'll kind of, I'll kind of know if I just, we have to look into authentication. It's Web API util or something. Yeah. It's not this. Oh, it wants us to do this. So I'll just make an access token page and just copy paste the access token and just set it in that file. For now. There might be a better way to do this. Gotta read the documentation on how to do this seamlessly. Header. Set app ID. What if you're, I mean, I do have a Steam your website called that. Fuck. Alright, let's see, do it like this, but how do we do it? Huh. Alright. Now I gotta go. There's too much time. I was reading about this already, like I know what to do, it's just I don't have the time. Let's just read this real quick. Getting started. Yeah, I'd have to go into settings of the publisher account. and configure the redirect URL. During your initial setup, you will need to contact valve the following information. What permissions you need user to obtain. The required permissions are listed, which should be called. If you're not planning supporting platform sync or workshop, will not provide you with the client ID. A lifetime token. The token lifetime, the redirect URI, user clicks back after verification. Authenticate user, redirect user too. So I guess I'm trying to do too much here. Alright. I mean, I can do it inside the game. And inside the game, I can tell them to upload. It's not the right page. Okay. Maybe use this one. Call it with C++. You could do is install a separate client, upload shit in a separate game. It's not the game. Call the API. Have Steam running in the background. It's like a little RCP bridge. And have PHP just call it and just tell it, upload this file. So I guess that would be the way to do it. So you have like I don't know how that would work on the server though. I can do this locally and have it just be a local Steam Workshop Bridge server. I can call these functions without using OAuth. That's pretty funny though. Yeah, so you could just UGC upload. Wow, right. Like, you just rip out what's in here. Have a separate exe thing. This is uploading leaderboards for. That's also a fun API call to do. It's a lot more fun to code all the other things, except for workshop and probably microtransactions or some other crap. Well, microtransactions is very exciting. Workshop seems to be a little boring in the beginning. And it's got that OAuth too, fucking block for web API, which is fucking annoying. So they're like, oh, we want you to like contact us. It's like, cool. So when I have the time to do this, I get to it, and then all of a sudden I'm just like stuck. Okay, so we open this on the HTML surface. So cool. Figured out how to do it. Just can't do it because I would have to contact Steam. Fuck. UGC. Yeah, here's the workshop example. You would call this UGC thing, which you could also call, because I want to do this in source mode. Is this the right one? Well, this is the other one I have to copy everything over from anyway. That does have the API, or it doesn't? No, I think they updated it, so it's the more updated version. Where I was going to do the shaders today, but I have like a curl, like generated entities and stuff. Something to do with gameplay or story mode. It's just like, but because it's in there. It's like you would call, let's see, we just did it here. Steam API context. Yeah. I don't know why I shifted away from the real. What I really remember, Steam UGC. No. Do I have like a UI element I can just access right now? Just check into. No. Yeah, I need to copy over my code for the UI. Let's just try HUD chat. I don't think it's going to have it. Yeah, it's not included here. You need to like first include Steam API so it IntelliSenses you. Steam API. And that'll include like everything. Steam API related crap. Yeah. Add app dependency, add item, video preview. That's pretty cool. Add item preview file. That's cool too. That's the icon. Create item. So you would call this crap. Create a new file. That's your app ID, and then the workshop type file. And I believe, since you're in here, Steam partner, you gotta define some workshop type files. Like I want mine to be an image skin for a weapon, and then I'll just model the AK and I'll try to make all this work. And then I'll just have a UV coordinates thing and just like set up a little paint program and just like paint over the coordinates and like be like, okay, this triangle is this shader. This could only have so many shaders and whatever. That would be cool. Yeah, edit Steamworks settings. You have to like do all these like staticky things. General, go to workshop general. And it's these stupid images too. Where's the thing where I define a bunch of workshop files? It might not be, you must complete the checklist before you can make workshop visible to public. Damn it. View workshop documentation. Yeah, I think I already did that. Oh, it'd be nice to watch this right now. I already watched those videos, but yeah, it takes like a while. It's just a lot of shit. Like you watch all these videos and then you're just like done, and it's like, oh, I haven't done anything, and I don't know where I am and what I'm doing anymore. And all you really need to do is just make this API call, and that's it. But then the OAuth 2 thing like throws me off for like always for hours, and then I'm like, I didn't get anything done, and I'm frustrated. The homepage, the service price, and then it's just like doing all this stupid web design crap. Like, oh, make the logo. Like, no. I think I'm just gonna like get pictures of screenshots and just AI generate